Hello dear students. In previous video we have studied about the types of asexual reproduction. These two types were fission as well as budding. Let us discover about some more kinds of the asexual reproduction in this part second. So first we will study about fragmentation. Fragmentation is a process in which the organism breaks into smaller pieces on maturation. Means once the organism gets mature, it breaks into smaller pieces. Then each fragment grows into a new individual. For example, Spirogyra. Here you can see the fragmentation in Spirogyra. So we can observe it with the help of an activity. The aim of the activity is to study the structure of Spirogyra. For this, we will require a sample of water collected from a water body. You have to collect a sample from a lake or pond. It appears dark green and contains the filamentous structure. Do you know that Spirogyra is also known as pond silk? Why? Because of its silky appearance. The green threads of Spirogyra looks very silky. So you have to collect these filaments or threads. Then put 2-3 drops of the sample on slide. Put a drop of glycerin on the sample and place a cover slip on it. You will observe a long thread-like structure with green spiral-shaped chloroplasts. Here you can see the structure of Spirogyra under microscope, and this is the Spirogyra as seen when it is collected from the freshwater bodies. So when we observe an individual thread of Spirogyra under microscope, you will observe such type of structures. A long thread-like structure with green spiral-shaped chloroplast. The conclusion is Spirogyra filament consists of many cells and these cells are placed end to end. Fragmentation is the process in which organism breaks into smaller pieces on maturation once it becomes adult or mature. So here you can see the mature filament of Spirogyra. So it grows, it breaks. Here you can see the partitions. These partitions are known as septum. So it grows at this position. So many parts are formed. Parts are fragment and each fragment grows into a new individual. Next kind of reproduction is regeneration. Regeneration is the ability of fully differentiated organism to give rise to new individual organisms from their body parts. It is called as regeneration. See, it is one of the processes in which an organism is cut into several pieces. Each of its part regrows to the original state. This process is carried out by specialized cells. These specialized cells are called as the stem cells. It takes place in organisms that have very simple structure with very few specialized cells. The type of reproduction known as regeneration. What is regeneration? It is the ability of the fully differentiated organism to give rise to new individual organisms from the body parts. So it is seen in the organisms with very simple structure with very few specialized cells. Here, the cells divide quickly into a large number of cells. Each cell undergoes changes to form various cell types and tissues. This sequential process of changes, this is known as development. The tissues form various body parts and the organs. Now the question arises, which organisms can regenerate? The regeneration occurs in organisms like hydra, flatworms, tapeworms, etc. These organisms have highly adaptive regeneration capability. When an organism is wounded, its cells are activated and the damaged tissues and organs are remodeled back to the original state. You know that whenever we have wound, a skin is skin is removed from the wound, after few days it comes back to its original state. Why? Because its cells are activated and the damaged tissues and organs are remodeled back to the original state. Regeneration is very prominent among metazoans, starfish, crayfish, reptiles, and amphibians. They also exhibit signs of tissue regeneration. It is not the same as reproduction. In some animals, such as the lizard, the shed limb regrows into the original organ. You know that if the lizard loses its tail, it can regrow it. Regeneration can happen in many different ways using the pluripotent stem cells. The stem cells play very important role in the process of regeneration. Some regeneration does not require stem cells. The stem cells, these are the cells formed at the time of the formation of the embryo. After amputation or cutting, the stem cells accumulate at the site of injury. Then the cells then start dividing to form the missing tissue. But not animals use these pluripotent cells for regeneration. Here you can see the regeneration in hydra. Here is a adult hydra. Amputation means the hydra is cut into the two parts. Upper part and lower part of hydra is separated by cutting. So here you can see that each part can grow into a new hydra. So this is regeneration in hydra. Even we can observe the regeneration in planaria. It is also a lower organism. So if the body of organism known as planaria is cut into many parts, each part can grow into a new individual or new organism. What do you think? Can humans regenerate? See, regeneration is a process which is also visible in humans. Our skin gets renewed from time to time. Here you can see the examples of the body parts in humans which can regenerate. Our skin also gets renewed from the time to time. You know that if we have wounds or scars, they get fade with time. Why? Because our skin gets renewed. The liver also has the ability to regrow if a part of the liver is damaged due to some disease. You might have seen news about the liver donation. Liver is the organ. Even if it is cut, it can regrow to its original position. So this liver can be donated. We see regeneration as an integral part of the healing. That means to some extent humans can also regenerate. Next type of reproduction is spore formation. Generally it is seen in the fungi. Spore is a reproductive cell capable of developing into a new individual without fusion with another reproductive cell. The spores are produced by bacteria, fungi, algae and plants. Here you can see the spore formation in fungi. See, this is the sporangium. Then it consists of the tiny dot-like structures. These are the spores. See, this is known as the sporangiophore. These are the rhizoids and aseptate hyphae. A spore is a reproductive cell. It is capable of developing into new individual without fusion with another reproductive cell. We can see the spores by bacteria. See, here are the spores produced by the bacteria. Here you have seen the spore formation in the fungi. Then spores are also produced by the algae. Here you can see the zoospores. Even these are shown by the plants such as ferns. Here is a structure of leaf of the fern. The leaves of the fern, they consist of the tiny spores. In spore formation, The parent plant produces hundreds of tiny spores, and these spores can grow into new plants. The spores are born in the sacs. These sacs are called as sporangia, which bursts open to release them. Once the sporangia gets mature, it bursts open to release the spores. The spores are covered by thick protecting walls, and they germinate and grow into a new plant under suitable conditions. Here you can see the bursting of the sporangium. This is a sporangiophore. It consists of the tiny structures called as spores. So once the sporangium gets mature, it breaks open and the spores are released outside. Here you can see the spore formation in the fungi Rhizopus, which is also known as braid mold. Now let us discuss an activity to study the growth of braid mold fungus, that is Rhizopus. For this we will require the biological material, that is moist slice of the bread. We will also need a petri dish and magnifying glass. For this you have to take a slice of bread, moisten it and keep it in cool, moist and dark place on a petri dish for 1 or 2 days. You will observe the cottony outgrowth on the surface of the bread. Even if you forget your lunch box to clean, then you will observe the growth of the mold, which is known as rhizopus. If there is chapati, roti or any food material in the tiffin, you will observe the outgrowth of the fungi. So during the week, the bread slice gets covered by white cottony patch. You can observe such type of the cottony patch, and this patch increases on the subsequent days. After a week, a layer of white cotton-like mass it turns black due to the formation of the spores. Here you can see the spores on the surface of the bread. This is the sporangiophore, and these are the rhizoids. Rhizoids, these are the root-like structures. So it helps the fungi to attach to a surface. The conclusion is there is the development of white cottony patch. It is basically the thread-like structure called as hyphae. This white cottony structure, hyphae, spreads over the surface of bread. Later, the fungus becomes black due to the development of the spores. In next video, we will be discussing about vegetative propagation. Thank you.